The ground moved again under southern Mindanao at 12:14 in the afternoon on Wednesday, August 5, 2026. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, PHIVOLCS, recorded the earthquake at magnitude 6.4. The United States Geological Survey recorded it at 6.3. The epicenter was offshore, 37 kilometers, or about 23 miles, southwest of Balut Island in the municipality of Sarangani, Davao Occidental. PHIVOLCS placed the depth at 13 kilometers. The USGS placed it at 10. The strongest shaking was recorded in Glan, in Sarangani province, at intensity 5 on the PHIVOLCS earthquake intensity scale, the level described as strong shaking, where most people indoors feel it clearly and objects can be moved or knocked over. PHIVOLCS stated there was no tsunami threat to the Philippines. As of August 6, no casualties and no significant structural damage have been reported. The earthquake landed on a region that has been shaking almost continuously for 2 months. In June, 106 people died in southern Mindanao. More than 121,300 homes were damaged or destroyed. All of Davao Occidental, all of Sarangani province and General Santos City remain under a state of calamity. A magnitude 6.4 arriving in that region is not the same event as a magnitude 6.4 arriving anywhere else. PHIVOLCS revised the earthquake once. Earthquake information number 1 reported a magnitude 7.0 event at coordinates 3.10 degrees north, 125.65 degrees east, a position 258 kilometers, roughly 160 miles, nearly due south of Sarangani, out in the Celebes Sea. That figure went out across Philippine media within the hour, and Philstar was still publishing it at 1:13 in the afternoon. Earthquake information number 2 then moved the epicenter to 37 kilometers southwest of Balut Island and revised the magnitude down to 6.4. Preliminary solutions are built for speed, and revisions are routine. The size of this one still matters, because magnitude is a logarithmic scale. A drop of 0.7 magnitude units represents roughly 11 times less energy released than the first estimate suggested. What briefly read as a major regional earthquake was, after review, a strong but substantially smaller one. The shaking was felt widely. Beyond intensity 5 in Glan, PHIVOLCS recorded intensity 4, moderately strong, in Kiamba, Malungan and Alabel in Sarangani province, in General Santos City, and in Tupi and Polomolic in South Cotabato. Intensity 3, weak shaking, was reported in Masam, Matam, and Malapatan in Sarangani, and in Lake Cebu and Tampakan in South Cotabato. Instrumental intensity 5 was also recorded in Sarangani, Davao Occidental, and in General Santos City. The USGS estimated that around 15,000 people experienced strong shaking, 88,000 moderate shaking, and 5.4 million light shaking. The agency issued a green alert through its pager system, which estimates likely fatalities and economic losses after an earthquake. Green is its lowest impact category. A rescuer on Sarangani Island, Harley Soro, told AFP that the shaking was strong and that he saw people running and shouting in panic. He said the earthquake struck while the local government was distributing a financial subsidy, so a large number of people had gathered at a court, but that everyone was safe. Based on their own assessment and experience, he said, they did not expect casualties or damage. 2 places in the region share the name Sarangani, and the distinction caused confusion in the first hours of reporting. Sarangani province sits in the SOCCSKSARGEN region next to General Santos City, and includes the towns of Glan, Kiamba, Masam, Malapatan, Matam, Malungan, and Alabel. That is where most of June's deaths occurred. Separately, there is the municipality of Sarangani in Davao Occidental, an island municipality made up of Sarangani and Balut Islands, roughly 100 kilometers further south, with a population of around 7,500 people. Wednesday's earthquake was near the island municipality, not the province. Both are named in official bulletins, and they are not the same place. The June earthquake is the reference point for everything happening now. At 7:37 in the morning local time on June 8, 2026, which was 23:37 Universal Time coordinated on June 7, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck offshore southern Mindanao. PHIVOLCS located at 32 kilometres from Masam, Sarangani, at a depth of 33 kilometres. The USGS placed it deeper, at approximately 57 kilometres, and the European Mediterranean Seismological Centre at 45. The rupture took about 70 seconds. PHIVOLCS attributed it to subduction along the Cotabato Trench. Subduction is the process where one slab of the Earth's crust is forced down beneath another, and the trench is the scar on the seafloor where that happens. The maximum recorded intensity was PACE 7, destructive, in General Santos City. The human toll, as of July 21, stands at 106 dead, 1,316 injured and 7 missing. 47 of those deaths were in Sarangani province, including at least 32 in Glan and 15 in Malapatan. 24 were in South Cotabato, 22 of them in General Santos City, where 3 people were killed by a collapsing warehouse wall. 20 were in Davao Occidental, including 9 in the island municipality of Sarangani. 8 died in Jose Abad Santos, 7 of them in landslides. These figures were revised upward during the response. An earlier National Disaster Agency report on June 21 had recorded 77 dead, 1,339 injured and 31 missing. The June earthquake also generated a tsunami. Waves of approximately 1 meter were recorded along the coasts of Kiamba and Masam in Sarangani, and Calamansig in Sultan Kudarat, with smaller waves at Mati City and Zamboanga City. PHIVOLCS had issued a destructive tsunami warning covering Sarangani, Davao Occidental, Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, Basilan, Zamboanga del Sur, Zamboanga Sibugay, Sultan Kudarat, and South Cotabato. It also changed the coastline permanently. Along roughly 100 kilometers of coast, primarily at Glan and Jose Abad Santos, the shoreline was lifted by up to 2 meters and pushed as much as 200 meters seaward. Corals that had been underwater are now exposed. PHIVOLCS attributed that uplift directly to movement on the Cotabato Trench. The Philippine Space Agency mapped approximately 137.87 hectares, about 341 acres, affected by earthquake-triggered landslides across Sarangani and Davao Occidental. In Barangay San Isidro, a landslide dammed a waterway and formed a lake. The aftershock sequence has run continuously since. By 11 in the morning on June 8, PHIVOLCS had already logged 138 aftershocks. By June 14, the count reached 5,200, of which 76 were strong enough to be felt. By June 19, it exceeded 8,500, including 3 events above magnitude 6.0, the largest at 6.5. A magnitude 6.5 struck on June 26. Another magnitude 6.5 hit on July 14, 104 kilometers southwest of Balut Island. 2 magnitude 5.6 events followed on July 18, a 5.0 on July 19, and a 5.2 on July 22. PHIVOLCS classified each of them as aftershocks of the June sequence. A continuing sequence means repeated ground motion on buildings that were already damaged. Structures that survived June 8 with cracks do not respond to renewed shaking the way undamaged structures do. Every significant event interrupts inspection and reconstruction work, and keeps people out of buildings that have to be reassessed. That is the practical cost of Wednesday's earthquake in a region where a state of calamity is still in force. General Santos Airport has been closed to commercial flights, and the port at Glan has been non-operational. Wednesday's earthquake released a small fraction of what June 8 released. The difference between magnitude 7.8 and magnitude 6.4 is roughly 126 times more energy in the June event. Measured against the USGS figure of 6.3, it is closer to 178 times. In terms of the stress stored inside this fault system, Wednesday relieved very little. Southern Mindanao sits where the northwest trending Cotabato Trench meets the north to south trending Sangia Trench. Analysts remain divided on exactly what ruptured in June, whether it was the northern Sangia Trench, the southern Cotabato Trench, or a combination of both. Hubbard and Bradley, writing in 2026, argued the main shock was probably too deep to have struck the megathrust interface, the main surface between the two plates where the largest earthquakes usually occur. Writing for Temblor on June 12, Ross Stein and Shinji Toda reported that the initial aftershocks covered an area of 165 by 150 kilometers south of General Santos City, and that the earthquake struck near a sharp bend in the trench. Aftershocks lit up much of the section to the south, leaving an adjacent 70 to 100 kilometer section unruptured at least since 1950, and probably since 1918. Their analysis identifies that section as one that could rupture next. 17 earthquakes of magnitude 6.5 or larger have struck this region, 7 of them at magnitude 7.0 or above within the past decade. The trench has a documented history at that scale. In August 1918, a magnitude 8.3 earthquake generated tsunami waves of around 8 meters affecting Sultan Kudarat and Sarangani. In 1976, the magnitude 8.1 Morro Gulf earthquake produced maximum wave heights of 9 meters at Labac, Sultan Kudarat, with tsunami deaths estimated between 3,000 and 8,000. Days after June 8, PHIVOLCS stated that the Cotabato Trench remains capable of generating an earthquake of up to magnitude 8.2, and that it is one of 6 active trenches in the Philippines, each capable of a magnitude 8 or larger event. That is a statement about maximum capability. It is not a forecast, and no agency has predicted when or whether such an event will occur. The monitoring continues. PHIVOLCS operates a network of 128 seismic stations nationwide, including its Mindanao Cluster Monitoring Center for Earthquake and Tsunami in Davao City and staff stations at General Santos, Kidapawan, and Cotabato City. The International Disasters Charter was activated for the June earthquake, alongside Sentinel Asia, and the Philippine Space Agency has published damage, coastal uplift, and landslide mapping products for the affected areas. As of August 6, Wednesday's magnitude 6.4 earthquake has caused no reported casualties and no confirmed damage. A magnitude 4.0 event followed south-southeast of Balut Island, and PHIVOLCS reported that aftershocks were ongoing. The agency stated no damage was expected but that further aftershocks may occur. The families of the 106 people who died in June, the 1,316 people injured, and the households among more than 121,300 damaged or destroyed homes remain inside a recovery that every new tremor interrupts. The trench that produced June 8 is still subducting. The section of it to the north has not moved in over a century, and the agencies watching it are still reading the data.